It was actually this person. It was Barack Obama who said that. And I think we often are maybe afraid of this big word of change. It is such a big word. And we think that change has to come from above. It has to come from top down. But change can actually start in the living room. This was where we founded Project 668 4 years ago. Here you can see our founding father, as I like to call him, Ernesto. And this was where we developed what is now Project 668. The reason why we did that was that we met during our traineeship at the Commission many other trainees who told us that they couldn't go back to their country because of the high youth unemployment rate. Well, 4 years later, it's true. Not really, things changed, and the youth unemployment is still very high. But when we met these people, we thought, okay, we have to change something. We have to help them. If they maybe don't get a job there, let's find them a job in Brussels. I will go through the first, through big changes, let's say, where we went through the last 4 years, so let's start here. 2014 was actually a very important year for us. It's all started because we won this competition, Europe Needs You for Job Creation. We participated with our project, we won it, and the prize was a partnership building activity in Skopje. This means that people from all over Europe who work with young people in the area of fighting youth unemployment came together in Skopje for 4 days. And the cool thing about all this was that we dedicated 1 day to Project 668. This means that I started presenting the project so that they know what it was all about. Then they could choose a group where they want to be part of. They got together in the groups. And then they presented the results. I must admit, they don't look that happy on that picture, but that doesn't really represent what the results of it. Because what they presented there was really lay the ground for everything that came afterwards. So it was a crucial moment for us. It was amazing to really benefit from their experience, because there were people who have been working in NGOs and with young people for over 10 years. And we were quite new to this area. So it was very cool for us to actually benefit from their experience, and they were all happy in sharing their information, which also fits again with our value sharing is caring. So it was great. It laid the ground for our first strategy meeting that we had in this year as well. We started organizing more events in this year. And what also happened, we did our first CV Café in 2014, which is a one-to-one CV review where people can come, we review their CV, and we give them advice on their career. And it also led to, let's say, more professionalism. What else happened in this year was we were among the finalists of the European Charlemagne Youth Prize. Now, I don't know if you're all familiar with that prize because it's not that known. You maybe know the big Charlemagne Prize, which is dedicated every year to, usually it's a famous person. This year it will be the Pope. In that year it was Herman van Rompuy. And there is also a youth prize. It's of course on a smaller scale, but again, it's a prize by the European Parliament. It is quite prestigious, and we were very happy to be among the finalists. They organized a Winners Week in Aachen. So all finalists meet, exchange their experience, which is very good as well, because you see, okay, what actually do other people do in other countries? And you have a representative of all member states, so this is great as well. Then we could participate in events with the laureate of this year, as you can see him, Herman van Rompuy. And in the end, there was the ceremony. And for us also, the first media coverage, which is always a big thing as well. We were very happy about that as well. So this was in a regional newspaper. But it didn't stop there. In the summer of 2014, the first European Interns Day took place. It was a day where several events happened around Europe, and we participated in the one in Brussels. So what happened was that we all got together with other youth NGOs. We could express our opinions. We had a short plenum where everyone could explain it, their view. But what was very good about it was that actually you didn't feel alone. I mean, you had the impression, okay, there are actually other organizations as well who have the same view. And you can speak with one voice. And that was very good. And it's, of course, always good for a small organization like us to meet other organizations and see how we can work together. We also had a stand there where people could come and we reviewed their CV. And then there was also a debate in the European Parliament happening about quality internships. Yeah, I was talking about media coverage. This also happened in 2014. Before, I think nobody had thought, I mean, okay, you know all now that we were in Forbes, so maybe Euronews isn't that special. But to see Project 668 next to Euronews was quite a big thing. And to actually manifest all these, let's say, steps of professionalism and steps of development, and let's call this changes, we said, okay, let's do it official, let's make it official, let's make it from project to organization, and let's register as an ASBL, which is a registered NGO in Belgium. Again, this might seem like a small step. For us, it was a big step because getting all the documents together and writing a statute isn't always that much fun either. So after getting an ASBL, after becoming an ASBL, and after these all steps, we said, okay, let's go also one step further and let's organize a bigger event. So what we did was, we organized a Run for Employment last year. This was an event where we wanted to actually send a positive signal out there. Youth unemployment is a tricky topic. It's a serious topic. It's quite heavy. And we wanted to add something positive to it. That's why we said, okay, let's combine it with physical activity. Because everybody knows physical activity is good for you, but physical activity can also help you to overcome mental health issues. And yes, unemployed people and also young unemployed people often suffer from mental health issues. So we wanted to combine all these topics and said, okay, and let's add also the team spirit part as well, because it's always nicer to do things in a team and not alone. So we organized a relay run in Park Leopold. The different steps that we did to promote the event was we got a co-organizer that helped us organizing it. Then we had sponsors that helped us having t-shirts, having benches in the park where people could sit, and basically giving us the opportunity to actually organize the event and make it happen. We got also on board 12 media partners, so 12 other NGOs or other media partners that helped us spreading the word about the event itself. Because as I said, it's always better to speak with more channels than just with one. We also did a video. We did a promotional video. We did fun with frames events that people could show their support. And then the event actually happened. We were very lucky with the weather. It was a nice sunny day. Around 70 people attended the event. We had 11 teams registered, 10 was the goal, so we even had more. The teams were from companies. We had a team from Adecco. We had teams from our media partners, or just young people who came together with their friends and wanted to run with them. What happened this year in January was that we made it on Forbes. But to be honest, all these prizes and that we got, and also being on Forbes, is in the end not the biggest recognition I personally get from it. For me, the biggest recognition is long queues at our events, as you can see here at CV reviews. People queuing for 1 hour to get their CV reviewed. This is, for me, a big compliment. People who attend our events and seeing their happy faces because they have the impression they can share their experience and living this value of sharing is caring. This is a big reward. And working with my team, seeing these happy faces when we meet and work together on the future of Project 668 is something that I can even not put in a value, really. Here is a slide with a question mark. And it's not because I didn't know what to put on it. It's because it represents the people whom we help. Because they come to us and they have many questions. They don't really know what to do or where to go. They're very lost. I don't know if you saw the movie Inside Out, but just to explain it briefly, you don't have to have seen it to understand what comes now. But it basically plays in the head of a 9-year-old girl, and she has all these emotions in her head, and they basically manage her life. And I found actually, while preparing this, I thought, actually, they represent very well also the people who come to our events. Of course, I'm exaggerating a bit now, but in order to present you the people who come to our event and not to show you really pictures, I thought this might be a nice idea. We have a joy. This is a person who comes and who is super motivated and super happy. Is like, I can do everything in the world. I can reach everything. My CV is perfect. And basically, I just came here to say hello. Well, this person is generally, it's great to see someone who is happy, but usually you need to tell this person, I think you still have some work to do. And it's pretty tricky because, of course, you don't want to make anyone sad who's already happy, but you have to bring this person down and say, okay, listen, maybe there are still some changes that you have to make. We have disgust. When disgust comes into a room, it's more like, okay, I'm sick of this. I already sent like hundreds of applications. And okay, I heard now about this event and maybe you can help me, but I really don't understand why they don't take me. I mean, I'm great. And I'm sick of that. Again, it takes a lot of, let's say, psychology and sensibility to really also explain to this person, maybe you have to change a few things. And it's always tricky to tell them how and why, because they usually have also quite a strong character. So it's not easy, but it's very good that we have these one-to-one sessions because you can really talk to the person. Fear. That's a tricky one, because if someone is already afraid of something, they are usually a bit blocked, let's say. So they don't really... They are afraid. They're totally lost. They don't really know what to do. As I said, the question mark. And then they come, and they are afraid. And you have to work also more actually on the, let's say, you have to work with them more on how they see themselves and on bringing them back to reality and bringing them back to that they aren't lost, and also work on their self-worth and self-awareness. This is, to be honest, that's sometimes for me the trickiest one. So if someone comes to me and already is angry and already thinks like, okay, and what do you actually know about this? Yeah, because someone else told me this and that, and now you're telling me that, so I don't know. I'm very skeptical about this. So basically, he wants to do my job, which is of course great, but he sits on the wrong side, let's say. So it's pretty challenging to get this person also back again and tell this person, okay, you know what? You came here I guess you look for help. So you have to maybe calm down a bit, and we can talk about this. In the end, it's you who changes your CV and who changes your approach of applying, but I'm here to help you. I'm not here to fight you. And then comes sadness. This is again something where you have to work more on the person itself and on their self-esteem than on their actually CV. Because, I mean, I don't know, I guess all of you have been looking for a job already in your life. Maybe already some of you have been through unemployment. But it actually makes people sad Like it is, if someone has been unemployed for months, it is not easy, and it makes them sad. And because we define ourselves so much through work, and if you don't have work, it's pretty difficult for them, especially if it takes a long time. So you have to actually tell this person that there is no reason to be sad, that we will work together, that we can change that, and that they actually have it inside of them, so that they have the potential, and that it might be just some slight changes, and then it will work again. In the end of all the sessions, and I would say now it's around 95% almost of all people look like him. And I'm not exaggerating. It's actually nice to see them, to look in a happy face, and to actually see that they are encouraged and they are basically ready to go out there, that they have the impression that they feel help, that someone has helped them, and that they can go out there, change things, change their application, and find a job or change their career. It's also nice when people after the session send you an email and say, hey, you know what? I actually found a job. Thank you very much for your help. And then people actually coming again. So they have already a job and they want to apply for another one and tell me, okay, you know what? I want to apply. Can you maybe check my application again? What do you think about it? And this is, again, a big reward and something that makes me happy as well, to see that we could help them and that they even rely on us further and trust us. Growth is painful. Change is painful. But nothing is as painful as staying stuck somewhere you don't belong. This was the background of my phone for a very long time. I was actually in that situation. So I felt stuck. I thought, okay, I don't know where to go, but where I am right now doesn't really make me happy. I don't want to be here. You know, you have to change something because it cannot continue like that. You are unhappy with basically the whole situation itself, to summarize it. And it took quite some time. So I would say I had this background for a year or something. And then at one point, after reading also many articles on how can you come out of this kind of situation and how to find your calling and things like that, I guess maybe you know these kind of articles, I asked myself the question, okay, what do you really want to do? What do you want to do when you wake up? What do you want to do? What makes you happy? Of all the things that you're doing right now, and I really made a list, what are you doing right now and what really makes you happy? And what do you care about? What are your core values? And actually the result of all this was Project 668. I wasn't at that time living in Brussels, so I wasn't here where the main activities were happening. But I knew, and I was still I was still a member of the team, I knew that this makes me happy. But then, of course, the question was, okay, but how can I actually change that? I mean, how can I change my situation to work more in Project 668? I'm not in Brussels, I'm not really where everything is happening. Yeah, so basically it was clear, I want to go back there. Why? Because I have been there before. And not only because I've been there before, but because I felt a feeling here for the first time that I haven't had for a long time, and it was the feeling of home. When I did my traineeship I did an internship with an MEP a long time ago, and this was the first time when I came to Brussels. It was just 1 month, but this 1 month changed my life. It sounds like a big thing, but it really did. Because I actually fell in love with this whole European idea and the whole European spirit. And I told myself, and I felt home because I felt accepted. I felt like I could be the one who I am. And it's very precious to have this feeling. And once you found this feeling, you actually don't want to lose it and you want to go back there. So I went back there. I went back to Brussels for my master's after I finished my studies. I did the traineeship at the Commission. I made friends who became family. And it was clear for me that I want to go back. But then my little friend fear came up. So I was asking myself, okay, you want to go back there, you want to work more for Project 668, but how are you going to do that? You're a volunteer. You need to live from something. And already, as I said before, if you're already in a situation where you don't really feel well, then really changing is in a way also painful. But in the end, and as you know, I am here again. I made it, and I came back to Brussels. And I am working now more on Project 668. And I accepted at the beginning a part-time job to be able to focus more time on Project 668. That's what I'm doing now. So through all these stories that I just told you, I actually came up after I thought about all this, that all these stories contain certain ingredients of change, I call them. These are based on my experience, and I'm of course very happy to hear your opinion after it about it. But I would like to now present you the ingredients of change, according to me. It all starts with a choice. So you choose which way to go, left or right. You're at a crossroads, and you make a decision. Then you need a strong will, because change usually takes time, and you need a strong will to keep going. And it's all connected with hard work. This is actually something where some people sometimes think, oh, well, yeah, that's not a big deal, huh? But they usually have never been through a big change. So there's hard work behind it. Then you need enthusiasm. You need to like what you do. You really need this feeling inside of you that you feel like, okay, this is what I want to do. This is where I want to go. You need to be enthusiastic because you need to keep going. You need support. Be it a team, be it your partner, be it your friends, be it your family. When I was stuck, let's say, I lacked some part of support, so I felt that actually support is needed. You cannot do everything on your own. And even if it's you who want to change yourself, you need support maybe from outside, because at one point you will maybe ask yourself, okay, I don't know, is this really the right way to go? And then you need someone who tells you, yes, this is what you need to do, this is what you want to do, so keep going. Patience. This is a very tricky part for me because I'm not a patient person. Patience is important because change doesn't happen from one day to the other. Change takes time. Sometimes maybe change happens smoothly, but I think usually it takes time, and that's why you need patience. And then there's a part which is tricky as well, pain. It can be physical pain, it can be emotional pain, but you will go through a period of pain, no matter, at least in my view. Because it is painful sometimes to wait for that call, to wait for that person to call you, to get an answer from an employer even, for example. This is all connected to pain. But in the end, I have good news, at least according to me. What is waiting for you at the end of every change process is happiness. It might sound a bit cheesy, but this is what I believe in. And this is also when I showed you the happy face. It is happiness that is waiting for you because you fulfilled this change and you got it and you reached the point. I mean, seriously, why would you change if not for happiness? I mean, if pain would be waiting for you, you wouldn't change, I guess. So it's a very nice feeling. And to sum all that up, I came up now with this phrase: focus. Set your goal, turn on your engine, and start going. Change will follow, and happiness will be waiting for you. And now I'm all ears for your questions, and thank you very much for your attention.